Hey, what's up, you
Let's hear
guys?
it.
This is WD3, and I
Whoa, I
want to
saw that.
update you all on what's been going on down on Figueroa with the crackdown on the trafficking
Hit
and
that like
what
button.
is the latest.
One of the most notorious sex trafficking corridors in the United States, known as the Blade. It's about a 50-block stretch.
There are churches and schools, but there are also girls as young as 11.
Forced to solicit customers for sex. I've been following this story for more than 2.5 years. I interviewed the mayor of Los Angeles. I interviewed the city attorney. No one has been able to uproot this issue. The 77th Street Division of the Los Angeles Police Department is responsible for the northern half of the Blade.
The Vice Unit has identified hundreds of suspected traffickers. But even when officers are confident, they need to collect enormous amounts of evidence in order to arrest them and then prosecute them in court. They often rely on rescuing these juvenile girls, in part to help them escape, but also to gather intelligence about their traffickers.
Today we'll be doing a juvenile CSEC minor rescue operation starting at 1900.
The plan for tonight is to go out with undercover operators who are going to try to pose as customers.
Anyone that is youthful in appearance and is confirmed to be a street walking prostitute will be detained pending a human trafficking investigation and brought back here.
On this particular street in Los Angeles, prostitution has always been a problem. But it's in recent years that child sex trafficking has become a bigger issue. It began during the pandemic. Lots of children were out of school. They were spending more time online on social media, which is where a lot of sex traffickers recruit children.
After 2020, you see such an influx of women. It's a lot of money out here. These gang members notice that if you have one girl, you can easily make $1,200 a day, easily. And the females are very reluctant to turn them in.
But as this crisis has grown, the officers say that the resources to fight it have not kept up. LAPD's Central Human Trafficking Unit has been disbanded, which means vice units like the one at 77th Street Division are having to carve out the time for this on their own. 5 years ago, uniformed officers could have pulled up to a corner and apprehended a whole group of girls who are dressed in lingerie, hoping to recover minors among them. But a 2022
Senate Bill 357
repealed that law.
Which repeals provisions of the law that criminalize loitering with the intent to engage in sex work. You can't arrest somebody for how they look. You need to actually catch them in that act.
Now officers have to pursue girls one at a time. That requires methodical undercover operations.
One of the undercover officers identified a juvenile on social media who's planning to meet up with him for sex. They're hoping to arrange a pickup for that girl.
They have a possible juvenile detained. She's agreed to meet them at this corner, at this intersection. She told him how she's going to be dressed, and sure enough, they see her walking up, matching the description, and it turns out she's 14.
The girl is temporarily handcuffed, but she's not being arrested. This is what the squad calls a juvie rescue operation.
They're going to call children's services, and she'll be taken to get medically screened, and then placement for her. And they're going to make contact with the parents. She's very young. Hopefully we caught her soon enough.
When juvenile girls are brought into the station, they're not booked for the crime of prostitution.
The vast majority of these girls are coming from the foster care system. Traffickers are able to lure them in with love and affection. Then over time, they start to rely on violence and manipulation to keep them from leaving. The DA's office has begun prosecuting more traffickers, but the reality is that 3 out of 4 girls who are rescued from the Blade tend to go back to their trafficker.
So I'm here on Figueroa Street in Los Angeles. It's around midnight on Friday night. We've been driving up and down 50 blocks. I'm with a non-profit that rescues young girls who've been trafficked for sex. Every year they rescue about 100 or so, sometimes 200, mostly between the ages of 12 and 14. From all across the country, these are American girls. Right here in Los Angeles, which has become the world capital for child sex trafficking. What's Karen Bass doing about it? Nothing. What is Gavin Newsom doing about it? Nothing. This is one of the most shocking things I've ever seen, and it's happening right here in California, in Los Angeles, under the rule of these people that never stop lecturing us about compassion and equity and gender equality. It is totally unacceptable. I will not accept it. This has to stop.
Oh my God. I'm just going to the store. No way. Don't say a word, girl. I heard it on the news, but I didn't think it was real. It's for real. That's crazy. I'm about to pay for her bail, bro. There's no way I just ran into this, bro. That's insane. They raiding Figueroa now, bro. I knew it was gonna come one day. That's my sister, bro. Oh, I'm her pimp. And you know the rule about pimps, like I gotta f her.
I'm not tripping on that, man.
I'm riding a fucking 2027 like Camry, bro. It hasn't even came out. I could piss out like... Yep, it's happening. That's my sister. Yes. Huh? My bad. Sis, I'll be home cooking chimichangas, all right? Don't say shit, girl. All right then, sis. I'll see you home, okay? Be safe. Later.
Gang members are in federal custody in what law enforcement is calling a major takedown of a vicious sex trafficking ring.
Investigators say the suspects used social media and music videos to recruit young women and children, targeting runaways and kids in foster care. KTLA's Lindsay Pena live in Westwood with more on the story. Lindsay.
Yeah, Sharon, Micah, 5 of those defendants were already in court this afternoon, pleading not guilty to the charges against them. Earlier, when we spoke to the U.S. attorney here at the federal building in Westwood, he said when they served the arrest warrants this morning, they discovered 4 sex trafficking victims, one of them a minor. These are photos of some of the 11 alleged members or associates of the South Los Angeles-based Hoover Street gang who are now in federal custody on a long list of charges that include racketeering, sex trafficking, drug and firearms-related crimes, and money laundering. Sky 5 was overhead as arrests were being made at a motel early Wednesday morning.
They were branding these young women, they were raping them, they were abusing them, they were drugging them, just horrific acts.
U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley saying many times the gang recruited victims through social media.
This Hoover gang, they portray a lifestyle of wealth, of power, of violence, and they use that to actually lure women into that lifestyle. They think it's going to be glamorous.
A 31-count indictment details the years-long case against the defendants who allegedly operated in the Figueroa corridor, known as a human trafficking hotbed.
The lead defendant is a woman. She goes by Lady Duck, and she was out there recruiting these young women, children as young as 14 years old, into sex trafficking and really selling other humans. It's the worst kind of crime out there.
According to the indictment, at one point, a 14-year-old girl was trafficked for at least 3 days in a row at a South LA motel. The U.S. attorney says the case against the gang members is a strong one, with many criminal acts being documented on various social media accounts.
A lot of these girls came from the foster system. They're preying on people who are vulnerable, who don't have maybe families, who are runaways, and so we try to get them services and try to help them.
The U.S. Attorney's Office says trial is scheduled for October 7th for some of these defendants, and while most of them are in custody, one is still outstanding, a man named Brian Israel. If all of these defendants are convicted on the charges against them, they face 15 years in prison, and some of them could be facing life sentences.